If you're a leader, a creator, or really anyone trying to build something new, you know the feeling, right? You're constantly facing these tough choices. Which project do we pour our hearts into? Where do we put our money? Which path is going to lead to real growth and which one's just a dead end? These aren't just little questions, they're high-stakes gambles. So today we're going to break down how to stop gambling and start making seriously smart moves. And that's really what it all boils down to, isn't it? A single decision can literally define the future of your company, your project, maybe even your whole career. It's this timeless dilemma. Do you play it safe, or do you take that leap of faith?
So how do we actually get out of that guessing game? Move beyond just gut feelings and flipping a coin? Well, today we're diving into some incredibly powerful, yet simple, frameworks that can turn those agonizing calls into clear, confident strategies. Let's get right into it.
All right, our first tool is the most fundamental one. It's kind of the bedrock of all this. It's called the risk-reward filter. And honestly, it's a brilliant way to get a quick, high-level read on pretty much any idea that comes your way. And what's so great about this is just how simple it is. Seriously, just picture a cross on a piece of paper. That vertical line, that's your reward, going from low to high. And the horizontal line is your risk, also from low to high. This super simple grid creates 4 very distinct quadrants for any decision you might be weighing. And just like that, this grid sorts all of your options into 4 neat boxes. In the top left, you've got low risk, high reward. Top right is high risk, high reward. Bottom left is low risk, low reward. And the bottom right quadrant, that's high risk, low reward. So let's break down what each of these really means for you.
Okay, this quadrant. This is the absolute sweet spot. The dream scenario, right? You've got huge potential for a fantastic outcome with almost no downside. So the takeaway here is simple. When you find one of these ideas, you don't wait. You go all in.
And then you've got the total opposite. Ideas that offer very little gain for a whole lot of risk. This is a massive red flag. The advice? Just walk away. Your time and energy are so much better spent somewhere else. Now, the other 2 boxes, high risk/high reward, those are your big calculated bets. And low risk/low reward, those are the small, steady improvements that can definitely still be worthwhile. Now, this is a fantastic problem to have, but it's still a problem. What happens when you use that risk/reward filter and you find you've got 2, maybe 3 ideas that all seem really promising? How in the world do you choose the best one?
And that's where our next tool comes in, for when you need to get a little more granular. It's called the weighted scoring matrix, and it gives you a systematic way to compare those strong contenders against the factors that actually matter most to you and your goals.
I know, weighted scoring matrix sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, it's just 4 simple steps. First, you just list out what success looks like for you, your criteria, things like ROI or effort. Second, you assign a weight to each one based on how important it is. Third, you score each of your options against every single one of those criteria. And finally, you just add up the numbers. This process forces you to be objective and helps you avoid that classic trap of falling in love with an idea just because it was yours.
Okay, let's make this real. So here, we're pitting a new digital product against a new service package. We've decided that market demand and ROI are the most important things, so we give them a higher weight. After we score both options, you can see the digital product just squeaks ahead of the service package. See? The numbers do the talking for us.
And that right there, that's the magic of this whole thing. It takes what feels like a messy, chaotic, emotional decision and turns it into a clear, data-driven choice. It just cuts through all the noise of different opinions and biases and points you straight to the most logical option based on what you said was most important. All right, for our last matrix, I've got a really powerful shortcut for you, especially if you're in a fast-moving environment. Think of this as the Get Stuff Done matrix. It's all about helping you figure out what to work on right now to build that crucial momentum.
Look, if you're running a startup or you're a solo creator, you know that momentum is everything. You don't always have time for a week-long deep analysis. You need to know where to put your limited energy to get the biggest, most immediate impact. This tool is designed for exactly that.
So how does it work? It's just like our first grid, but we swap out risk for effort. And the 2 most important boxes become obvious almost instantly. Anything that's low effort but promises a high reward, you do it now, like today. These are your quick wins. And projects that are high effort for low reward, don't even give them a second thought. This simple filter keeps you laser focused on what's actually going to move the needle. So let's tie this all together. What's the big takeaway here? Well, by using these matrices, you get 3 huge advantages. You can systematically balance risk and reward.
You get to prioritize projects with actual data instead of just a hunch, and ultimately, you'll be able to move so much faster with way less regret and second-guessing. And I think this quote just nails it. These tools, they aren't really about the charts and the numbers. They're about giving you the clarity and, maybe more importantly, the conviction to make those bold moves. They're about turning that feeling of uncertainty into a real strategic advantage.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. The next time you find yourself at a crossroads, staring down a really difficult choice, are you going to rely on guesswork, or are you going to reach for one of these tools and let a clear, logical framework help guide your way?